In this tutorial, we will build an authentication system using Nuxt.js. So this is the app. Here we are at the main page where it says you are not logged in. We can go to the login page and we can register our user. So let's try first to register a user. I'll create a test user and the password is test. When we submit, we will get redirected to the sign-in page. And now here, let's try to log in with the user that we just created. Before I sign in, I will inspect, and we will use HttpOnly cookies in this tutorial. So this means once we send a request to the server, we'll get redirected to the main page and we will get a cookie, which this will get our authenticated user. So here, hi test is the name of the logged in user. If we log out, it means it will remove this JWT token. We log out and the cookie is removed. And if we go to the main page again, it says you are not logged in. So this is the app that we will build. Before we start building the app, I would like to remind you that this video is meant to be combined with other videos. So if you want to use Nuxt.js with Laravel, Django, Node.js, Go, Nest.js or Deno, I provided some links in the description of this video. If you don't want to build a backend, don't worry, I have a solution for you. Also, make sure to check scalablescripts.com. Now I will show you how to build a backend without actually building it. So, if you already built the backend, you can skip this part. If you don't want to build it, then first, before I explain this repository, download Docker. So go to docker.com products docker desktop and download the right version for your machine. I already did it and I have here an icon on top. So in order to build a backend, you have to install Docker. Now this repository is just a simple docker compose.yaml file. You can copy this file, you can download the code, you can do anything. In my case, I will just copy the code and I will do a git clone. So I will open my terminal and I will write git clone this repository. So now that is downloaded, let's go to the folder auth API is called, and you have Docker installed. Run docker compose app. And now Docker will pull all the images and download all the files and it will build the backend for you. Now let's wait till it's completed. Now it's completed. So we are almost finished. Now I will type Control C, Command C to close the containers. And we need one last command. So first I will do a docker compose app but -d, so we don't want to see the logs here. So with this command now we don't see anything, so we can clear it. It doesn't show anything. And let's run this last command. This will build the database. So everything is built. Now we can access localhost port 8000. And this is our backend running on port 8000. Now we will consume this API by building our app. Now let's create the Nuxt.js app. Go to nuxtjs.org and click Get Started. Here we need to install Nuxt.js. I will use npx and I'll copy this part, npx create Nuxt app, and I will call it Nuxt Auth. And it will show some options which we will choose. So the project name is NuxtAuth. I'll pick TypeScript, npm. I'll pick Bootstrap. I will select none here, none here, none. I will create a single page app. So this doesn't matter. I will pick the defaults, and the version control system, none. And now let's wait till it's completed. So everything is installed. I will open it with my IDE. I'm using WebStorm here. You can use Visual Studio Code, it's the same. And now run npm run dev. This will run our project. So the project is running. Now go to localhost port 3000, and this is our Nuxt app. Now let's add the template. So go to getbootstrap.com, and here let's go to examples, and we will pick the sign-in example. View the page source here, and we will copy the code, the main code here. And let's go to pages, index.view, and let's change this template. I'll paste this HTML, and I will remove all these styles. So I will remove them all. Also, I will make some changes. I will remove this image, all the labels, this div here, this paragraph, these IDs, email here, autofocus. So let's keep everything really simple, and it will look like this. So we need more styles. We need this where is it, sign in CSS. Let's copy everything here, and I don't want to copy it here in the index.view. I will paste it in the layout, because we need these styles to be applied for every page, not only the index page. Let's paste it here, and it will look better. Still, we need to remove this HTML embody. So keep only the form sign-in styles. And now it looks better. Now let's add the navigation and the other pages. So this is the index page, and we need two more pages. One is, let's create a view component, login, and the other one is register. So the login page will have the HTML that we have here. So I will cut it, and I will add it to the login. In the index, I will just add a paragraph here. You are not logged in. And for the register page, I will copy again the same form. So we need to change the form, but for the moment is enough. And as we can see, we are saying you are not logged in. If we go to /login, we can see the login page, and if we go to register, we'll see again this form, but this is the register page. So this is how Nuxt.js works. The URL here is based on the component inside the pages, and the layout is the layout for all these components. Now let's add also another thing in the layout, because we don't want to change the URL here on top. We want to have a menu. So go again to getbootstrap.com, and we will add here a navbar static. View the page source here, and let's copy this nav. I'll paste this nav to this layout. So I'll paste it here, and this will look like this. Now let's make some other changes. So the first one, this is home. Let's remove this button. I'll remove this class and divs here. I'll remove this form, all these LIs, and here this is login. And I'll copy this, paste it again. So this is not active, and this is register. And it will look like this. So this looks better. Now let's make the links work. So the links, to make them work, we cannot use normal href anchor links here, but we have to use Nuxt link. And we will remove the href, and this needs a to. So to the main page. Same for the other Nuxt link again here, to/login, and Nuxt link to/register. And if we click home now, you are at the home page. Login, we are at the login page, and register, we are at the register page. I will make another change now. Let's go to login. This main class, I will cut it and I will add it here, because it has to wrap everything. And in the login, we just keep the form. In the register as well. So let's change also this name in the register here, because it's confusing. And here we need an input of type text, which is the name. And the button will say just submit. So let's see the result. We can see you are not logged in is in the middle. If we click login, we go to please sign in. And if we click register, we will show the register form. Now let's make the register form work. So we are at the register page now, and we need to create variables for each input here. So to do it, we will add the data option here. And here we will return all the variables that we need. So we need the name. I will initialize it as an empty string. Email, empty string. Password, empty string. So to assign these variables to the inputs, we have to use vModel. And we'll assign the name here. Let's do the same for the others. vModel email and vModel password. So we created the variables, we assign them to the inputs. What is left is submitting the form. So we have to add a submit function. So first in the methods here, we have to add a function. I will call it submit. And we will call it here. So we'll call at submit the submit function. We will add here .prevent, because by default the form will refresh the page. If we add .prevent, it will not refresh the page. And now this will call this function here. Let's make the call to the server. So first I will make this function asynchronous, and I will await here the fetch function, and we will call HTTP port with localhost port 8000 /API/register. And we need to add some more configuration. First, the method is a post request. We need to add the headers, which is content type application JSON, and the last part is we need to add the body, which will be a JSON stringify, and we will add the variables that we have here. So to add those variables, we have to add the key, which is name, and the value is this.name. So we access these variables by using this email, this email, and password, this password. So the request is completed. Also, the last part is after we finish, we want to redirect to the login. So when we successfully register, we need to redirect to login, and to do it, we have to use await here, this router push to /login. With this, let's try to register. So let's create a user here, a@a.com, submit, and now we redirected to login, which means we registered successfully. Now let's complete the login form, the same as the submit form. So here we need to add the data as well. So just like the register, we need to return the same data except for the name, and we have to add them here as a vModel. So vModel email and vModel password. So we added them. Now let's add the submit function. So I'll copy the function, or I will create it directly, it doesn't matter. So we have to add here methods like this, and we will add a async submit function, and here on the form we have to submit this submit function, and don't forget to add .prevent. Now we have everything we need. Let's send the request. So I'll copy the request, paste it here, and the difference is now it is localhost /API/login. It is a post request, headers are correct. The body, we need to not send the name, but we will send just the email and the password. But still we need one extra configuration, because the backend will send us a cookie, so we have to accept that cookie. To accept that cookie, we have to add a new option here, which is credentials include. If we don't add this cookie, we won't. If you don't add this configuration, we won't get the cookie, and therefore we won't be able to log in. After we finish, let's redirect to this router push to the main page like this. So now let's try to log in. First, let's inspect and see that we don't have any cookie, so this is not a real cookie, and we don't have anyone. Let's try to log in now. a@a.com was our user, A was the password. Click sign in, and we redirected to the main page here, and as we can see, we got a JWT cookie, which is HTTP only. Now we need to use this cookie in order to get the authenticated user. So let's go to the index page. Here in this view component, we will add the data, and we will have only a message here, which for the moment I will make it an empty string, and we will show the message here, message. And we need to send the request to the server now in order to get the authenticated user. So to do it, we have to add here mounted So when the component is mounted, which means all HTML is rendered, we have to call the server. So I'll make this asynchronous, and we will call fetch again. So wait fetch HTTP localhost port 8000/API/user. So this is the endpoint that we want to send the request. We want to send the headers, so I'll copy the headers like this, and we need to send also the credentials, so I'll copy both of this, and this is the request. We don't need to add the method because it is a GET request. So this is also really important because if we don't add this, we won't be able to send the cookie that we got from the backend. So this is important. Now we got this request, let's get the response, and we get the content, which is equal to await response.json. And for the moment I will just console log the content. Let's see now the page. So we don't show anything now, but is okay. And as we can see, we get the authenticated user here. So let's change the message now based on this user. So the message, this message is equal to hi, and we'll concatenate the content.name. The content in this case is the user. So hi A. So we got the authenticated user now. Now let's change this login and register because we want to show a logout button here. So to show a logout button, we have to either send the request again to the layout, but we will have two requests at two different pages, which is not a very optimal solution. We should find a way to send an event from this index page to the default layout that the user is authenticated. So in Nuxt.js we have events, so let's call it now. So this Nuxt, we need to emit an event. In this case I'll call it auth, and the value will be true, so the user is authenticated. I'll wrap this request with a try catch, and in case the user is not authenticated, we will go to this part where the message, this message will say you are not logged in, and this emit event will be false. So we handled both cases where the user is authenticated or when we have an error, which means the user is not authenticated. Now we have to handle this error in the layout. So here, let's create a script tag here also. Script, export, default, and let's add the name of the component. I'll call it layout. And here we have to get the event, so we have to call here mounted. And to get the event, we have to call this Nuxt on like this. Auth was the event, and we will get an auth variable. For the moment, just console log the auth variable. So let's inspect. And as we can see, we have a true console log here, which is coming from default.view, which means that we are authenticated. So let's use this variable. Let's add it first to the data here. So we have to create a variable auth, and by default is false. And once we set the authentication here, we'll set this auth is equal to auth, like this. Now, based on the value of this variable, let's change this menu here. I'll copy this, I'll paste it again, and I will add the condition here, if is not authenticated. So if the user is not authenticated, we will show login and register. In case the user is authenticated, so the opposite of this, will show only one link, which is logout. I'll change this to an anchor link because we don't want to redirect directly. And I will do an href to this is here. So now, as we can see, we are showing the logout button, and let's make it work. So let's create here methods, and let's add the logout button. Logout function, sorry. Here, when we click, we want to call the logout, and now this logout function, we have to send a request to the server, which means let's make this asynchronous, and we'll await fetch http localhost port 8000/API/logout. And what we'll send, I will copy it from the index here, is almost the same, so we need to add the credentials also here. Also, this is a post request, so let's add a method which is a post request. And that is our request. After we finish, we'll redirect to login. So wait this router push to login, and that's it. Let's try to log out now. Click logout. Let's see also if the cookie will be removed. Click logout, and as we can see, we redirected to login, and also the cookie is removed. If we go to home now, we will say you are not logged in. So we need to log in again to check hi A, which is our name. So this was the authentication using Nuxt.js. I hope you liked this tutorial, and if you did, please share it and subscribe. Thank you.